What up, though, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. Today, I'm here to talk about a new show I started called Gomorrah. I started the show on HBO Max, which is where it exists right now for streaming. Uh, I discovered it through actually a couple of means. The first being, if you watch my old video on Fargo season 4, they introduced a new actor I was unfamiliar with, Salvatore Esposito. He played Gaetano on the show, and I thought Gaetano was a very interesting character, and I thought the way that they presented this character was interesting. Like sometimes, like he played a very badass kind of guy, right? Like this is a guy that was kind of crazy, like he'll kill you for virtually no reason. But then sometimes it was kind of played for laughs, and I wasn't really sure what they were trying to do with Gaetano at times. But overall, the actor Salvatore Esposito kind of drew me in a little bit. I was impressed by this guy, right? So after the end of the season, I'm reading articles and whatnot, and I see an article that says, here's a list of the top 30 international television shows of the last decade. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool because I like seeing what other countries are doing. I'm not opposed to subtitles. I watch things with subtitles on purpose. English speaking shows I watch with subtitles just because I want to make sure that I don't miss any dialogue. Um, so I'm not turned off by something that's in a foreign language with some subtitles. So I figure let me see what's on this list, see if anything jumps out. There are a few things on there I'd already seen. I think the biggest one of which would be Dark. Actually, I'm not even sure Dark was on the list. Now that I think about it, but there was something on there that I'd seen already. And a lot of things that I hadn't, and most of which I hadn't heard of. Coming toward the top of the list, I see Gomorrah. I think it was number 4 on the list, which is impressive because they're saying this is the 4th best show of the last decade internationally. Like not even just like one specific country, just like over the whole world. This is the 4th best show of the last decade. I'm like, okay. And who do I see but Salvatore Esposito, the guy that plays Gaetano on Fargo? I'm like, okay. So I'm reading an article or they interview Salvatore Esposito about his role on Fargo and how he got it. And the short of it says that he was approached by Noah Hawley, the showrunner of Fargo, well his agent was, and basically they said, hey, yo, we saw you on Gomorrah and we think you're pretty fucking good. Why don't you come be on this show? And there we go. So combined with the fact that I already was interested in Salvatore Esposito based on what I saw on Fargo, to see this show at number 4 on this list and it stars him, I thought, let me check this out. So let me tell you guys, I fucking love this show. There's some things where, a certain genre of show is just your jam, right? Like you might be someone who loves romantic comedies. You might be someone who loves slapstick comedies. You might be someone who loves thrillers or horror films. And that's just your thing. More than likely, no matter the quality of it, you like that genre of whatever type of art so much that you're probably gonna like it regardless. Like it has to be really bad for you to not like it. That's how I am with like gangster flicks and gangster shows. Shit that has to do with the mafia, organized crime, whatever, conflict, that kind of shit. I eat it up. I absolutely love it. But I'm also one to not go, oh, this genre is my jam and I just love this unconditionally. One thing that I'll do is I always try to keep in my mind, why is this show necessary? Does this provide something different to this genre that makes its existence necessary? More often than not, especially in certain genres, you'll find that you don't really see what that is. You might go, okay, I like whatever this is, but I can't really see what makes it stand out from all the other things. Like if you look at that's how you end up with guys who they get almost like typecast into a certain type of thing. So think like Jim Carrey movies from the start of his career, like Ace Ventura up until the Grinch movie or something like that. It was pretty much the same thing in all the movies. And you might be somebody who's like, I like that thing. So it doesn't matter to me that all of these movies suck or that they're all virtually the same. And then you might be somebody who looks at that like, I like Ace Ventura better than blank because Ace Ventura brought something to this genre that this other movie didn't. When I go into something that I know is kind of just something that kind of is high, a genre that's highly populated. There's a whole lot of these types of movies or these types of shows. I kind of look at it like what is unique about this one. And obviously for me, Gomorrah, the biggest change is the fact that it's not in English. But that, of course, is that has no bearing on the quality of the show whatsoever. But one of the things I like about this show so much is it's paced at almost a breakneck speed. So what I mean by that is I'm going to compare it to Game of Thrones, which is something that I seemingly do a lot on this channel. But Game of Thrones, to give you an idea, you might have a situation where you have a couple of characters talking and they go, all right, well, we need to go to Bravos to find blank. And once you get accustomed to Game of Thrones, you'll realize we need to go to Bravos to find blank. They might not arrive in Bravos, period, until the next season or some shit, like, or the rest of that season might be spent getting them to Bravos, and then the whole next season will be spent with them trying to get whatever it is they're trying to get. That's kind of like how Game of Thrones plays out. It's the long burn, it's the long haul. It's very rarely a fast moving show. It's very deliberately paced, heavy dialogue. That kind of stuff. And then you have obviously your Hallmark episodes where there's massive battles or big shocks and surprises. To compare Gomorrah to that, it's almost the exact opposite. They'll say, we need to go to Spain to find so-and-so. The trip to Spain will be like 2 scenes later. And like that entire whatever it is they're going to Spain for will likely be resolved in that episode. And I find that to be incredibly interesting. That's really rare to have something where it's like, where a show outlines, this is the direction we are going. And then that direction, whatever that action is, happens like 2 scenes later. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think like, oh, this is going to be cool whenever so-and-so goes to Spain. I don't have to imagine it because that person's going to be in Spain in like 2 scenes. So I think that's really cool. I like that. It's almost like this instant gratification where you can get accustomed to thinking like, if I get instant gratification on whatever this plot line is, maybe there won't be too much to flesh out over the course of, say, the rest of this season. But it's got so much going on, and they introduce so many different aspects that you think, oh, this trip to Spain to find so-and-so could last 5, 6, 7 episodes. It happens in the same episode that it's mentioned, and then now there's a next episode, there's a totally new problem that is created from the trip to Spain in the previous episode. Like that's kind of how the show rolls. It's like it snowballs and it just keeps escalating and getting bigger and getting more dramatic. And I like that consistent escalating of drama, tension, violence. Like it just keeps moving. And I'm curious how long it can maintain this kind of like breakneck pace of like every episode is interesting, and then each episode gets increasingly more interesting. So to rewind a little bit, I just finished season 1. My initial plan for anything that I'm kind of like going back to watch that I'm kind of binging is to just watch the whole thing and then do a video on the whole thing. But I like this show so much that I kind of want to go season by season as I'm watching, just to kind of talk about how things have changed from one season to the next. Have they improved? Have they worsened? And then, of course, that gives me 4 videos, because there's 4 seasons released so far. That gives me 4 videos that I can put out over the span of, we'll say 2 months, as opposed to 1 video that I won't get to put out for, say, another 2 months or 3 months or something like that. So I'd rather have 4 videos spread out over the course of 2 months than have 1 video over that I get to put out in 3 months. So that's kind of the reasoning behind this. So that's why I'm only focusing on season 1. I started season 2 yesterday. I'm going to knock out a couple more season 2 episodes at some point today. I watched the first 2 episodes last night. I'll probably watch another couple today. But going back to season 1 and the show as a whole, another thing I like about it is it's kind of like, think of The Wire, but in Italy. And you still have the grittiness of The Wire. You still have the drug dealing, the tension, the backstabbing, the violence of The Wire. But it's also a little bit more modern and sleek, right? You have like the juxtaposition of, okay, we have them operating in these slums and they look run down, they look dangerous, and they go back to their own personal homes that look lavish. Even when they're operating in these slums, they're not like, dressed like, think think The Wire, where you might have guys like just hoodies, jackets, jeans, sweats, whatever, right? These guys will have on mad jewelry, looking super fly, looking like a kind of like almost like the stereotypical Italian mobster, like Salvatore Esposito's character. His name's Gennaro. At the beginning of the season, he's kind of like really straight laced, slick hair, lots of jewelry, track suits and shit like that, like kind of what you would expect, almost like in a stereotypical kind of way. And they do a lot in season one to kind of morph Gennaro into a different person, and watching that progression is really cool. And then also it gets the show it gives Salvatore the opportunity to showcase his range. Like, so for me, I'm looking at, okay, I've seen this guy on Fargo. He played a scary fucking guy. Now let me come over to Gomorrah and see what he can do. And now he has moments where he plays a guy that exhibits like massive amounts of cowardice. And then later, now we're starting to see him mold into a badass. So, and doing a lot of great stuff there. He's doing a lot of great work. The co-star of the show, I don't know the actor's name, obviously, but he's doing great work. I found myself getting really excited about certain scenes, really cool things happening. This show has really, really high tension at times, like really kind of like, wow, this is pretty intense. So content is insane, off the chains on this show. Another thing that this is kind of like a hallmark of your good kind of like gritty mobster, gangster, drug dealer kind of shows is that the music usually reflects the environment. So like, you're not gonna watch The Wire and hear a bunch of classical music. You're gonna watch The Wire and you're gonna hear the kind of shit that people listen to in the hood. You're gonna hear gangster rap, stuff like that. The music on this show is really cool to me, and I don't understand a word of it. It's all in Italian, but like, it's like a almost like an Italian hip hop, like what you expect to match the environment that the characters live in, and it's dope music. Like, like this is like kind of cool. And they have a song that they play at the end credits, which I guess we can call that the show's theme. And besides the song being dope, they do something else that I think is really cool, which is they rather than having think of again, for the easiest comparison, Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones ends, you have your end credits, you have music playing, and then at the end of the end credits, you get the HBO sign, and then you'll get your next week trailer. So you might get a 30-second spot with clips of the next episode to get you hyped up for the next episode. Gomorrah does it a little bit differently. They show you single shots from the next episode throughout the credits. So, I mean, this doesn't go all the way to the end of the credits. The credits run maybe about 2.5 to 3 minutes, the length of the entire song. And maybe you stop seeing visuals maybe like halfway through. But for some reason, that's even more intriguing than seeing a well put together and well edited teaser for the next week. It's like you get a quick snapshot of a scene, and you get a limited amount of time to look and see who's in this scene, what's going on, and think like, wow, that's going to happen in the next episode. So like they even do that well. And I think that's something that I've never seen anyone kind of take the credits / next week preview and kind of turn it on its head and create something new. And it makes you want to watch the full credits, because it's like, you might watch most shows and as soon as the credits rolls, all right, let me cut this shit off. But when Gomorrah ends, I'm like ready. It's still part of the episode to me. I'm like, okay, let me see the shots for next week. Let me listen to the music. It's the exact same thing that I loved about The Mandalorian, was the fact that they took something as mundane as end credits and made it fucking awesome by putting that awesome music to it and then giving you the artwork to kind of like reflect back on what you just saw. And so like this kind of like creative presentation of end credits is something I'm totally bought in on. I really love it. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that in other shows, because like I would assume it kind of benefits you in some way, whether statistically or financially, if somebody watches you say 40 minutes of your show as opposed to 37 minutes because they cut it off when the credits end. I don't know. But at the end of the day, whatever the motivation is for making the end credits interesting, I think it's a great idea and it's fun. I like a show ending but still having something to look forward to. Like this show will not be over for me until the credits are over. Like that's kind of fun, and I like that, and I'm not accustomed to that, and I think Gomorrah does a great job of that. So to recap, incredibly intense, intriguing, just tension and drama filled plot. Incredible acting from the main cast. If you want to see, kind of, Salvatore Esposito kind of like as he's starting out, and well, I can't say as he's starting out because I don't know if this is his first role or anything like that, but like relative to Fargo, if you want to see like, okay, this is how he was, and this is what he did in 2014, this is what he does in 2020. You can check that out. Again, he's doing a phenomenal job. The whole cast is doing a phenomenal job on the acting side, which is another reason why I encourage you guys to watch it in its true language as opposed to an English dub, because you lose a lot of that in the English dub. Music is great. Visually, it looks stunning. Like I said, the mixture of the modern look versus the not the modern look, but like the upper echelon kind of group of people versus like the grittiness of the hood in which they operate, and it makes for like some really cool scenery. These guys are traveling around. It's like, okay, now we're in Spain, now we're in Naples, now we're in Rome, and you get to see some hood spots, you get to see some like really nice spots. It always looks beautiful no matter where they're at. It's really rich and vibrant and gritty. So it looks amazing. The music is great, even the music throughout the show. There's a theme that plays whenever something fucked up's happening or about to happen, and I love that. The Leftovers did that to perfection. Like they had the music where it was like, okay, this whatever's happening or is about to happen is gonna wreck me. And the Leftovers had music that clued you into that. And Gomorrah has the same thing. There's a specific tune or I don't even know if it's a song, just music that plays whenever something fucked up is happening. And so like I like that too, like the idea of like, oh shit, the scary music's happening, something's about to go down. Like that's cool too. So this show is really firing on all cylinders. The last 4 or 5 episodes of season 1 were phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to season 2. These first 2 episodes have been great so far. I can see if this show actually manages to get better than it was in the first season. Yeah, I can see this being a top 4 international show. So really looking forward to the rest of it. I hope you guys watch this video. I highly encourage you to watch the show. If you are watching it, it's on HBO Max. So far there's 4 seasons done, but there's only 3 on HBO Max, and there's a 5th and final season that is coming up, which I looked at Salvatore Esposito's Instagram. They're filming it right now. There's a 5th and final season coming up. I don't know if that's going to air in Italy on this Sky channel, when it drops and then hit HBO Max a year later or something. I don't know what the release plan is for it, but I'm going to watch the 3 seasons that are currently on HBO Max. I will find a way to acquire the 4th season somehow, and I'll drop a video for each one. So again, highly encourage you to watch this one. 2 massive thumbs up on Gomorrah. Check it out. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.